Thank you. The next question is, congratulations on winning a second term. What are your plans for the next 2 years for your district?
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so excited to be able to talk about this. You know, we are really, really burrowing in on some major areas that we want to move forward on. What is wonderful is that we've spent the last 2 years or so drafting many pieces of legislation that now have a fighting chance of being enacted in this upcoming term. And so, you know, to describe some of the work that we've introduced in this term and some of the things that I'm looking forward to us getting a hearing on or having a fighting chance, you know, very early on, we presented the Loan Shark Prevention Act, which would cap interest rates from credit cards and other predatory lenders at 15%. So essentially making usury illegal in the United States and allowing and really making sure that people just aren't getting fleeced, frankly, to an unethical degree with interest rates that are just simply unacceptable and wrong. And so our Loan Shark Prevention Act that we had introduced caps interest rates at 15%. Another piece of legislation that we had introduced was to recalculate the poverty line in the United States and basically to recognize real poverty. And what that does is that it will allow a lot more people to access assistance. The current poverty line is still based on a formula that takes the minimum caloric requirements of food requirements times 3. And just take that number and you multiply it by 3. And that is essentially the calculated poverty line in the United States. It does not include the cost of childcare. It does not include the cost of modern utilities. It assumes that you have a stay-at-home spouse, essentially, that not only does full-time childcare, but also cooks your meals, etc. So we have that. I'm looking forward to making sure that we expand healthcare a great deal in this country. You know, President-elect Biden does not agree with Medicare for all, but I do believe that we can work with his administration to, at the very least, dramatically reduce the enrollment rate for Medicare, to make sure that we invest in Medicare deeply, that we expand Social Security, that we allow COLA, the cost of living adjustments, to be generous and to be reflective of true costs of living, and that we actually restore the ability for people to get back up on their feet, especially now and especially during this time. And of course, you know, I think the most urgent matter of business is making sure that our district's priorities are included in any COVID package that comes up, especially after President-elect Biden is seated. And so all of this is extremely important. Of course, we've got the Green New Deal on deck, and I deeply look forward that we really truly jumpstart our investments in climate, and that includes, you know, a $2 trillion climate plan that was agreed to by President-elect Biden, that includes includes investments in disproportionately impacted communities, which includes ours. You know, we have East Elmhurst, and many of our families that is absolutely a frontline community. Many of the emissions that come off from a LaGuardia airport flow right over that community of East Elmhurst. Many people believe and have called areas and pockets Cancer Alley, etc., or Cancer Boulevard. There's so many euphemisms throughout the country, and it's indicative of how much we have. We have a toxic Superfund site right here, by where Sunnyside Yards is, and I think it is absolutely imperative that we not only decarbonize, but that we also really take a look at the communities that are disproportionately impacted. And I'm happy to say that we have early indications from a Biden administration to help us address those issues.